Hey lovers, how you doing? Good day wherever you are in the world, good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to another exciting episode of Connecting the Mind and Soul, and I remain your host, Jumoke Ogunsuwada. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about red flags. Now, this is very important, but sadly, a lot of us do not note the handwriting on the wall, and this has led to a lot of disaster in relationships, in marriages, and it has, have a lot of time, energy wasted, emotional, mental draining, and some has even led to deaths. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about types of red flags that we've turned to overlook. And the first one I'll be talking about is laziness. Now, a lot of us know, and I'm not talking about laziness in terms of house chores or things like that. No, I'm talking about laziness in terms of business, in terms of career. We know we have some partners who are not industrious, who are not fruitful, who are not productive enough, but we still end up marrying them because we think, oh, I'm making more money than them. I can easily sustain the own. And this mistake happens to a lot of women who makes more money than the men or who are dating men who have nothing doing. And at the end of the day, many bills, too many responsibilities comes up over the years. Kids come in and you pay school fees, the welfare and things like that. Now the time to turn to the man and say, oh, you're not helping me with anything, you're not doing this stuff. They're forgetting the fact that they overlooked so many of his laziness, of his shortcomings, because they felt they were making more money than he was. Now, another one is anger. Now, we tend to see a lot of people who are dealing, who have partners who have anger issues, but they still end up, going and like, oh, he's going to change with time. Oh, my love is sufficient enough to change him. Or don't worry, I can tame her, I can tame him. Once we're married, everything is going to change. Marriage changes no one. That's what we need to understand. You can't change anyone who is not willing to change. And this marriage and this anger of a thing, we need to be careful, when we're dealing with anyone with anger issues. Now, this, brings me to a story that's just, raining of recent on Instagram. Someone shared the story of a woman who trailed her husband to an hotel, caught him red and dead, and made sure the man saw her. Now she went back home, and she has three kids by this man. She went back home, picked up the three kids, took them to the bridge, and threw them over the bridge because she was angry at the fact that the man cheated on her. And I don't know how that makes sense. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, but I know that man must have seen some red flags, probably maybe because I don't know that we have some couples who date each other now, and any little things, the lady or they will pick up the TV and smash it on the ground. They will make sure they do something crazy once they're angry because they want you to feel the pain they are feeling. And you see all this and you still go on in the relationship and you still go on in the marriage. Please, let's be careful when we see these red flags and let's note them. And the third one is poor communication. Now, this might sound simple, but it's not simple. It leads some to isolation. It leads some to depression. When you have a partner that does not know how to communicate, no matter what is wrong with you, they do not communicate. They just leave. They just let you be. Now, I have a friend of a friend who is in a marriage, not even relationship, of many years now, and they say absolutely nothing to each other. I know it started from poor communication down to the state of where they share nothing, not even greetings, not good morning or good afternoon, not good night. They can, the man can just drop money and be off for months, for weeks, for days without, telling her where he's going to or anything. I mean, all these things are signs she must have seen when they were dating or probably maybe early marriage. And she could have probably maybe sat the two of them together too. Anyway, someone who has poor communication, how will you be able to talk sense into them? But then in relationship, I believe you would have been able to either walk away or be able to, work it out between each other. But please don't let it lead to marriage before you start to, run etasketa. And the next one is sting. Now, this also might sound simple, but when you're dating someone who can't as little as give you a slippers, it is a big red flag. I mean, I have a friend who all through our marriage to her husband, although they're not together anymore, he didn't gift her even as small as an handkerchief. And this is someone who will buy him clothes, shoes, wristwatches, and a whole lot of things. And one day she sat down and she said, Jumoke, do you know what? This man hasn't even gotten me an handkerchief before. It is as bad. A stingy man is a stingy man. A stingy woman is a stingy woman. I mean, it goes also in a woman. I mean, a guy shared a story of how he ended a 2 years relationship because the girl he was dating, who he placed on 200,000 naira salary, couldn't help him out when he was in dear need of it at a particular time. I mean, he said, according to him, he said the girl has been doing it over the years, and he's been overlooking some certain things, But he said that very day was stranded, and he needed someone to bail him out because maybe he said his phone was dead or his apps were not working or something like that. And he called on her and was like, you know what, I need you to let me transfer this to certain person. I think the money was even up to 100,000. And the girl was like, oh, I don't have any money. But I still sent you 200K just yesterday. And she was like, oh, I need it for something. I can't do it. I can't do away with it now. I was even thinking of calling you so you could add up to it. I want to buy something. And the guy was like, no problem, but I really need this right now. I will send it back to you. And he said at the end of the day, the girl didn't send him the money. He had to go and look for the money, elsewhere from a friend. And he said because of that, he had to break it up, with her. Although the girl came back, begging, but he said no, because he's been seeing, it's been occurring in different styles. So I mean, I'm happy for the guy anyways, because he was able to get himself off that type of relationship on time. He was able to see, above the lines. Now the other one is incompatibility. Now we need to be careful of this. We know we don't have anything in common, but we still go on. We say, oh, love is enough. Love is never enough. In marriage, in relationship, even in friendship, love is never enough. We need to understand that. You need to have somebody, you need to be with someone that, something has to glue you together. Let me just put it that way. Something has to bond you together. You can't just be at home. When you're still, doing boyfriend, girlfriend, it is good because you guys aren't staying together. But once you're married, you join together. Now imagine you're with someone who doesn't like to watch the things that you watch, doesn't like to eat the type of food that you eat, doesn't like to, do certain fun things. Your hobbies are so different from each other. I mean, how are you guys going to bond? It is isolating, it is deadly. I mean, there's a story of a man, a woman who got married to a football I mean, the man happens to be a football crazy fan, or how am I going to put it? A fanatic. And she doesn't like sports at all, be it football, be it wrestling, or whatever. So she didn't really understand his passion for, football and things like that. So whenever he's watching football, she is always angry because she wants the attention to be on her. And there was this particular day she was busy doing something. The man was watching football, and the child was crying. The baby was crying, and she said, tend to the child while I finish doing what I'm doing in the kitchen. And the man got so angry, like, can't you see I'm watching ball and things like that? And she also got angry, like, what is it with football, you and football, things like that? And she switched off the TV because she didn't understand what the craziness was all about with the football. And the man just picked up the child and flung the baby out of the balcony. That is as crazy as it can get. So we need to be watchful. We need to see these red flags. And the next one is unwillingness to compromise. Now, this is another one that is very important. Anyone who is not ready to compromise is a selfish person, a self-centered person who can never put you first. You need to understand that fact. No matter what you're going through, they will always put themselves first. So anyone who is not ready to compromise when it comes to you cannot even compromise when it comes to your kids. So please don't dabble into what you won't be able to finish. And the last one is flirting. Now, if you know you have, I wouldn't say flirting, I might say someone who is very friendly with the opposite sex. Now, if you know you're a jealous person, or you know you have hot temper, I don't see the reason why you have to date someone who is over friendly with the opposite sex. Because so there, you have some people who are also friendly with opposite sex, and we have some people who are touchy with opposite sex. Now that doesn't mean they're trying to date them or toast them or things like that. They're just a touchy kind of person. You have some men who, when they see their female friends, like, oh, I love your hair, oh, your face is this, oh, I love your makeup, I love your dress, I love your this, and you're a jealous person. I don't see where both of you are going to last than that. It's going to bring more issues and issues and issues, even in marriage. So please learn to know all these red flags. If you know you're a touchy person, you have no business being with someone who is, or tempered, or someone who is jealous. So, wrapping up on today's episode, please try and study who your partner is, who you're dating. And please learn to read the handwriting on the wall. And please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'm CMS_ with Jumoke. On TikTok and YouTube, I'm connecting the minds and souls. And also my email address is connectingthemindsandSouls@gmail.com. Please don't forget to press the follow button. Please don't forget to share, to comment, to like. And as you do, remain blessed. And until next time, till I see you next, please keep shining, be handsome, be more beautiful, and see you guys later.